Okay, so the last file is the post-secondary status file. This does not pertain to your actively enrolled students this year. This is essentially a survey result of your students who completed the high school last year, completed a CT pathway, and was surveyed by your district. Okay, so the results of that survey is then submitted through your post-secondary status file. Okay, so what does that mean? That means any LEA who does not have a high school site should not be reporting any PSTS file, right? So for post-secondary status or PSTS, this pertains to essentially what are those students doing at this time, at this point in time. So essentially, you have your students who completed the high school last year, who also completed a CTE pathway or participated in the California Partnership Academy, who are now either in college, working, or in any capacity, right? So the CD wants to know what those students are doing at this time. Are they following up or did they continue in their post-secondary education related to the pathway that they selected, or did they not go to school but continued in the labor market pertaining to that CTE pathway? So that's basically the information that's being collected on this file. And based on the survey results that you will be determining or you will be uploading, CalPAS will then collate that and generate that information. Okay. So how do you determine the list of students to survey? So number one, you can generate it from your SIS based on the parameters that we've mentioned. So the student has to be a completer last year and who completed a CT pathway at any point during their time at the district. Okay. So if your SIS has the capability to be able to run a query, then you can generate it internally. Now, if you don't have that capability, CalPads has some reports to generate that information. Number one is to run report ODS report 8.1a, which is the student profile exits list. You have to run that to determine first who are your completers last year. Once you've determined those completers, you have to run snapshot report 320. You have to run it 3 times based on the year just to cover if any of those students completed a CT pathway in the past 3 years. Right. So in a nutshell, this is how the survey list would be determined, right? So you first run ODS report 8.1a for 24-25, filter for enrollment status 10 and 30, and then filter for completer exit code E230 and completion codes 100, 120, 250, 320, 330, and 360. And then filter for grade levels 12 and 11. So essentially, you generate the list based on this parameters to determine your completers. Now, to filter it further, you have to run report 3.20 multiple times. So you have to run report 320 for academic year 23-24 and filter for grade level 12 and filter for the Perkins CTEG funding as all to determine that list of students. So now you cross reference it to your completer's list, then you should be able to see get that list of students. Now, if you have students who completed CT pathways during their junior year, you may also be able to generate that by running that same report 320, but in academic year 22-23, filter for 11th grade. And then do the same for 10th grade. So there may be a possibility that the student started the pathway early. They started a two-level pathway during their freshman year and completed the pathway during their sophomore year. So once you've determined that list, essentially this is a screenshot of how to generate the report. So you have the academic year 24-25, filter for grades 11-12, exit reason 320, completion status would be this status, and then from date would reflect the grad completer date cycle of last year. So that's 8/16/2023 up to 8/15/2024. The reason why we recommend you use 8.1a over, let's say, end of year report 120 is because there may be a chance that a student may have completed high school but was not captured in the end of year submission. So that's the reason why it's better to run the ODS report 8.1a. Now for the 320, so again, pick academic year 23-24, pick the grades, then make sure that your Perkins CTEG fundable is set to all or YNN, because there are times where a student may be in a course that is not taught by a CTE credentialed teacher. And so by checking all or YN on this, you still are able to generate that list of students. Okay. And as I've mentioned, you have to run this report 3 times, each year corresponding to their grade level. So for 23-24, it's 12th grade. For 22-23, it's 11th grade. For 21-22, 10th grade. Okay? Once you have the list, you then send out a survey. If you need to have a survey template, that can be downloaded from the CalPAS user manual PSTS page. If you just filter for PSTS in the user manual, you should be able to go to the page, and then under Fall to PSTS, there should be a link to the survey template. Okay, so the survey template will will list the questions. It also identifies the PSTS field where the answers for those questions would be mapped to, and then you also have the possible code choices. Once you've generated the list of surveys, so essentially when is the deadline? You can expect surveys from students up close to the deadline. Then once you need to decide when the cutoff is, that way you can generate the PSTS data and then upload to CalPads. Now, to submit your PSTS records to CalPads, you can either submit it through a batch file or post it manually directly in the CalPads online maintenance page. Now, if you have surveys that have multiple responses, you see if a student is in the military, they're also in college, and they're probably even working, right? So if they're in a ROTC program in college, then they are working in the military. They may be working outside of the related to the pathway. Then they are enrolled in a college. So you may have at most 3 records maybe of results. So if your SIS is not capable of storing more than 1 record, then you can essentially extract the file from your SIS. And then once you extract the file from the SIS, you can then add those additional records directly into CalPads or in the file that you intend to upload to CalPads. So so that's a way to do that. But if your SIS has the ability to store multiple statuses and then report to CalPAS, then that's well and good.